I'm Ava, and I'm coming to you from the jungle of Peru, the Yucatan Island, the jungle, right here. It's absolutely amazing. So amazing. So, I'm here today to speak with you about mastering the three-dimensional game that we call my life. I'm sure many of you have heard the concept, the idea that nothing is real and it's all really a virtual reality. And what does that mean? Some tradition calls it a dream, virtual reality, story. There's many ways of calling it. Science, quantum, talks about how everything really is much more space than solid. Very little is actually matter. Matter is mainly space. Science talks about how nothing ever really touches something else. It might feel that way or seem that way, but it's not necessarily true from a scientific point of view. Science also talks about how when you look at something, when you have your attention on something, you are actually affecting that. It changes just from the very fact that you are paying attention to it. You have your awareness, your focus on it, your energy is flowing towards it. So from that perspective, everything is really just one field, and we're all moving in this field like a matrix. So what does that mean for us as individuals? One way to really look at it is becoming aware of how you are inserted into this game, this virtual reality, this matrix. And if you think of a newborn child coming into a body, is birthed into this world, you have this incredibly free, open, curious little human that is just flowing with energy and not holding anything back. Here you have the epitome of life expressing itself through form, through a body. And we all come in that way. Yes, there might be things carried through many lives. Yes, there's things carried through the genetic memory encoding that way. And from that place, we're always individual, even from the very beginning. But the free expression of life in a newborn baby, we've all experienced it. The pure essence, love is just present. You look into the eyes of a newborn, and you feel presence. That which we all really are. That which is imbuing this body with life. That which makes it move and eventually think and create and all of these things. So if you think of this newborn child as matter and life coming together, and now we have a human being, there is no persona yet. The child's brain is not aware enough to create a persona. So if I use myself as an example, when I came into this world, there was no Ava. My parents gave me that name, and they would call me that, but there's no identification from the very early beginning. It's just a sound, like any sound. Over time, we learn to understand that when my parents said Ava, they wanted my attention. That was like a dog, like the name of a dog. It was some sound that called my attention to them. Over time, I understood that they actually meant me, and over time, that then becomes an identification. But from the very beginning, there is no identification. There's life expressing itself freely, just flowing. And if there's pain, there's pain. There's human reaction to pain, might be crying, might be screaming, and all the natural responses from this human, this animal, this body, it has all this natural way of reacting, and it just happens in the moment, completely freely with a newborn child. With time, we understand from the training, the schooling, the domestication we have from our parents and family and society, we realize that some things are considered not good, other things are considered very good. I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to not do that, and this belief system starts to build. As a little child, um, that I'm good at certain things. This whole structure starts to build, and and this energy form is what Eva is. Remember, she did not exist. Eva did not exist when I came into this world. This body came into this world. Life, no story, identification ID of Eva. The brain is not even mature enough to understand concepts like that when you're brand new in this world. So over time, Eva is starting to take shape and form, and she contracts in certain circumstances, and she opens up in other circumstances, and that becomes the virtual reality. And there's still an awareness of myself as presence only. Yes, Eva is now beginning to build, but Eva is not in charge yet. Life is still able to move through this veil that Eva is beginning to be, this ghost, this shadow, this virtual reality. But life can still move. And at some point, varies from individual to individual, that changes. And now I am beginning to think of myself as Eva. And all the beliefs I have been given, formed around myself as a persona, as a human, as a woman, as a whatever label, that is now becoming very solid and rigid. And it has a life of its own. It literally is a virtual reality that has been created and imbued with energy, and it wants to move in a certain direction. And I, as the individual in this human, at some point accepts that as I am Eva. So now I am walking through life thinking I am Eva, forgetting that I am life itself. I am this force that can move anything and everything. It's this force that's present everywhere in the I've forgotten that, and now I think of myself as Eva. Way, so when someone is requesting something from her or triggering a memory of something scary or triggering a memory of something beautiful, Eva is reacting automatically. There's a trigger and a reaction, and it's automatic. If you think of this as the metaphor of a virtual reality game, as we've been using here, Eva is the avatar in the game, and life is the one sitting there with the control, playing the game. And Eva was born into this already existing virtual reality game that we call the world, my life. Eva came in as an avatar, as a body into this game, and life was there, and life knew it is playing this game, it's coming into this game to have this experience, and it's fun and it's exciting, and oh my god, what's going to happen this time? And then all of a sudden, Ava has a life of her own. The avatar has a life of his own. And you pop into the game, and now you believe the game. Everything that's happening in the game means something, and it affects the avatar so powerfully, and that's part of the game, and it's meant to be that way. But when we lose the awareness that we're actually playing this game, that we're just force moving the avatar in the game, it's a different story. Imagine that you go to the movie theater and you're watching a thriller, and you're really enjoying it because you're sitting in the theater, you're watching this movie. Imagine that you pop into this movie and you're one of the characters, and you've forgotten that you're sitting in the theater. That's where awareness comes in, of having an awakening within yourself to realize that you actually are this avatar. The attachment to the story completely changes when you wake up to the fact that you're the avatar. And you, life itself, can be playing this game with awareness, with active response, conscious response. When something happens in the game, you can respond as opposed to react. So how do we do that? Well, that's something that every mystery school through centuries have been talking about. And there are so many ways, so many tools, so many ways to approach this awakening process. And the very first thing to start with in my personal experience is awareness. To look at the concept of the avatar, the virtual reality, and embrace it as a possibility for yourself. Can this be true? And what would that mean to me? And if I am this avatar, if I am believing in myself as an avatar, what am I really? Asking that question, what am I? Not who am I? Because that is a question from the avatar to the avatar. What am I? And holding that on a daily basis. What am I? What am I beyond the story of Ava? Could there be more to me than what I think there is? Could there be more to this experience of life that I'm having? Could there be more to that than I'm aware of? So that's how powerful you are. We all are. You are creating your experience in this game, whether you're aware of it or not. So by asking that question, you are pulling towards you the answers. You ask a question, the answer is always there. It's the ability to stay with a question and open up for that potential new information to come to you. So starting with that space of allowing the bubble of who you think you are to crack. The rip in the dream, in the story, in the virtual reality. Allowing a rip to start happening. That alone will set things into motion where you can have an awareness of yourself as this multidimensional being. Yes, you have a body. You might not be the body, your life expressing through the body, but the body is very real. It does exist in the shape of a form in this reality, and this body has a life of its own in a way. It has an intelligence of its own. The body wants to survive, for instance. It has an instinct to stay away from pain, to survive, to procreate, to make this life express itself over and over. And because of that, the body will make it. So in one particular circumstance, your body is safe. I don't feel safe. Walking out into an unknown, and there's potential danger. So the body has its own intelligence, and that you. And when you're identified with the persona, with Ava in my case, there's no distinction. Ava is Ava, and everything that is present here is something that Ava is making happen, or a victim of, or it's happening in Ava. With awareness, you can have very clear awareness of, my body is feeling this right now. This is going on in my body physically. A car is about to hit me, my body will feel fear. There is no doubt at all. It's instinctual, and it should be there. There's nothing wrong with fear. It has a purpose. Another layer of our being is the mind. We have a brain that thinks, and it wants to think. The human mind looks around, and it wants to identify, okay, this is a hand, that's trees, a bench. It identifies, it quantifies, it wants to know what it is, if it's good, if it's bad. Do I want to keep it? Do I want to get rid of it? Is it serving me? Is it not serving me? Mind is always doing all of these things. So the mind has its own way of functioning in this reality. And it will speak. And mind has a memory. It remembers everything you have ever experienced. So does the body in its own way. So the mind really bases every decision it takes on its experience, its memory. And it's making a choice moving into the future based on what it has experienced. The wisdom, or the knowledge, I should say, doesn't necessarily become wisdom. But all the information the mind has, it will use to discern what's happening here right now. Do I recognize it? This is what it is. If I don't recognize it, you're trying to fit it into what you already know, because that's all the mind knows. It's based on the past. So the mind will look at the present moment with the filter of the past, and it will make decisions moving into the future based on that. Nothing will ever change from that place, because everything you decide in this moment is based on the past. So all your previous set ideas of how things should be, whether you like them or not, is what is guiding you into the next moment when you're living from the mind. And most of us do. So you have the body expressing its needs. You have the mind totally living in the past and bringing the past into the future. And the two of them greatly affects how you feel, your emotional state. So your body can generate or inspire emotion by its response to what it's feeling around it right now. Your mind will do the same. It will interpret what's going on around you and draw a conclusion and give a recommendation. And when these two are aligned, the body and the mind, you have very strong feelings. Sometimes you have a conflict. The body is telling you one thing and stimulating an emotional response, but the mind is saying something else and stimulating a different emotional response, and now they're clashing. And with no awareness, all of this is going on. It can be completely confusing. When you think, I am Ava, and everything that is arising, I'm either a victim to or in control of, but it's Ava. With awareness, again, you can see all of this. This is going on. Okay, so my body is feeling inspired in this moment. My mind is feeling, yeah, maybe not. And then there is that is neither one of those. That that is sitting with the control of the avatar. And becoming aware of that layer of yourself gives you a whole different space to be in as you walk through life, as you navigate the avatar through the virtual reality. To really become aware that I am not my thinking. I think as a human, I have thoughts arising. Some of them are greatly automatic based on everything I have walked through. Some can be inspired, and some I can choose. The body is dancing its own dance based on memory and inspiration it's feeling from the world around. And then there's you, that which you really are, holding it all in a whole different space. From that place, you wouldn't say, oh, I'm afraid. You would say, oh, fear is present. Is there danger around? Yes, action. No, okay. And you can allow the fear to just move through you. It's a memory coming up to warn you. Danger is present. Is there actual danger in your physical reality right now? Then yes, listen to the fear. See, take action. Move yourself out of this dangerous situation. If there is not fear present, you know without any shadow of a doubt that it's a automatic reaction based on your past. Whether it's conscious or not, doesn't matter. You don't have to know where it's coming from. You know that it's an automatic reaction. And you can allow it. You can say, thank you. I understand you're warning me for perceived danger here. Thank you. Thank you. I honor you. But you can hold yourself in peace, in joy, or whatever the state of mind is you were in before this fear showed up. You have that choice with awareness. Awareness changes everything. All of a sudden, you choose your response as opposed to stepping into habitual reaction. And it all comes from that first step of awareness. I am life itself expressing through this avatar. And in the beginning, that can feel like a separation or a bypass, and absolutely can be used that way. But it doesn't have to be that way. It's the initial step to be able to cut the cords with that complete identification with the persona that we all think we are, and realize those are separate. And as you become very adverse in that and land in a different vibration, you are now living in the vibration of life itself as opposed to the contraction of the persona. Then you can merge them again. Then you bring that fully into the avatar, and you bring the avatar becomes alive in a whole different way. So really, really playing with this in your daily life, and looking at how can this be a virtual reality? How can I become aware of that in my daily life? Watch movies like Truman Show. Fantastic story of awakening in the dream. He's this persona in a TV show, and everyone else is just part of the cast supporting this character. And in a way, that is exactly what's going on for all of us. My way of interpreting my loved ones, friends, colleagues, the world out there, everything, how that is showing up for me individually is my interpretation. Quite literally, even though there is a persona there, a body, a being, their way of describing what's going on would be based on their bubble, My way of describing any given circumstance is seen through my filter. And we're all, most of us, walking around in our bubble of perception, in our filtered individual world. And they dance together, they meet, intersect, without ever losing, this is my bubble. This is my way of seeing the world. And that doesn't have to be a conflict, which is so interesting in the day and time we're living in now with so much division. It's really understanding that you are in a virtual reality, that it's arising with your way of looking at it, makes it so easy to be in respect for everyone else, in deep understanding and compassion and respect for how they see the world and what choices they want to make from that place. This is like an invitation into a whole different way of walking through the world. And I promise you the world would be so fun when you can see it that way, because you're literally playing a game. That's all it is, and it's fun. So if you want to know more, check the information in the video description, and I will put some links in the comments as well, and let's have a conversation. Let's talk more about this. Let's see how and if I can support you in living life like a game, like you're fully engaged in this game, but it's fun. It's fun. Just like playing a game. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I hope to speak to you soon again. Thanks.